What's going on, arcade nerds? In the last video I talked about t-shirts and how I was supposedly going to make them and whatever, and I failed, and I said I was going to make them again. Well, guess what? Now they're actually available. You can buy an Arcade Jason t-shirt. It's going to be through Teespring. There's a description down there. Maybe I'll put it right here. But, you know, check out the description after the video, and you can get yourself a t-shirt. I was originally going to have them made myself and ship them out and so on, but I was literally going to save myself about $1 a shirt, and I would have had to ship them out. If I go through Teespring, I have no hassle. It's just done, and you guys can still get it. And, you know, I have more time for me. So, I'm going the Teespring route. It's a little more expensive, but, hey, it's not bad. Okay, now, if you watch my channel, you may know that I happen to have every single Atari Vector arcade machine that was released. Now, there is other machines that were made, and they're one-offs and prototypes and things like that that I'll never get. Never. Except for one. I happen to make... Alright, well, you know what? The machine I have is not a legitimate prototype. But I did make it. Okay. There is a game called Gravitar. Okay? And before it was called Gravitar, they had a prototype, the Gravitar prototype, and that game was called Lunar Battle. Now, Lunar Battle ran off of Atari, what's it called? Ran off the Asteroids 2 system. Yes, they called it at Atari the Asteroids 2 system. And you know what Asteroids 2 system was? Space Duel. They didn't call it Asteroids 2. But the actual hardware that it ran off of was called the Asteroids 2 system. And so, when they wanted to make Lunar Battle, they were looking at different options. They were looking at Battlezone hardware. Yes, Battlezone hardware. I don't know if they're going to colorize it or what, but Battlezone hardware, and they decided against it. And they were looking at Space Duel hardware, and it wasn't up to par. So what they did is they got the Asteroids 2 hardware, or Space Duel, and they modified the living crap out of a Space Duel board to give it more ROM capabilities and things like that. So yeah, what I did is I just did the same thing they did, and yeah, I just put it together in a Space Duel cabinet. Now originally Lunar Battle, I think there's only one that exists, and I'm not sure who it is. Maybe it's Atari Scott. He owns everything. There's only one that exists. So I have another fake. I have a copy of the one real one that exists. And let me show you. You know what? Let me see here. I got a little post-it. What else did I write about that? Oh, did you know they were considering to put a pedal? They were going to put a pedal on Gravitar or Lunar Battle. I guess that didn't come through. But anyways, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a little slideshow of some cool drawings and things like that from when the designers were making Lunar Battle, and then eventually when they changed name to Gravitar. I'm going to show you a bunch of drawings and pictures that the designers actually did. There's a guy by the name of Dan Coogan, and he actually met up with Mike Haley, who is the project leader to make Lunar Battle, which ended up becoming Gravitar. And he actually copied a whole bunch of things out of an old binder that he found, that Mike found. But okay, so let me show you what Lunar Battle looks like. Okay, we are now in my kitchen. Soon I'm going to put this in the Vector room, but I don't want to do it until it's done. In other words, I am making a marquee for this because it currently has the Space Duel marquee. Okay, this is originally a Space Duel cabinet, and what I did is I got a Gravitar control panel. I already had it laying around, and I made my own plug and connector to adapt the Space Duel harness to play on a Gravitar control panel. And so that's actually plug and play. The original everything is not damaged. So that's actually pretty awesome. Yeah, so right now I'm using one of Fred Konopaska's monitor kits. This is a brand spanking new, actually this is brand spanking new deflection board and brand spanking new high voltage board. But I'm using a Sega Vector yoke and the tube from Wells Gardner 6100 just because. So let me try to get a little closer. Oh, by the way, did you know that the designing team, they wanted this to be in an asteroids cabinet? Their proposal was turned down, but I think it would have been awesome if they would have, like, what would that have been, like 3 years later, revive the asteroids cabinet for this game? That would have been awesome. But they didn't. One thing Atari did is they kind of stuck with this style cabinets for a while with their colors, with their color vectors, except of course for Tempest, Major Havoc, what else? There's another one. Tempest, Major Havoc. Oh, and of course the Star Wars. But yeah, there's a lot of Sega vectors that came in this specific cabinet. Quantum was nearly identical. There is differences with the Quantum cabinet and these. But of course you have Space Duel, Gravatar, Black Widow, and things like that came in this cabinet. But okay. So let me try to get close here. I'm going to turn the light off. That's the ceiling fan. There's the light. Try to get the best. Jeez. You know, by the way, if you buy a t-shirt from poor Jason here, I'm going to use that money to buy myself a new camera. This camera is okay, but it kind of sucks. And the reason why it sucks is because it has an autofocus. More expensive camera has a fixed focus. And if I can adjust the focus and leave it in a specific way, then I can get perfect picture with these vector games. But you know, anyways, okay. So long story short, I want to get a better camera just for recording vectors. But okay, so I'm going to coin this up. And if you notice, if you're familiar with the Gravatar, you may know that when you coin it up, you hear that sound. This sound's not there for Lunar Battle. There's a lot of missing sounds on Lunar Battle compared to Gravatar. Also, Gravatar has 3 different solar systems, and Lunar Battle only has 2 different solar systems. So there's a lot more to Gravatar, but yeah. Also, there's no free play. They never bothered to put free play on this board. So you know, okay. I'm gonna start the game. There is no brrrr sound, right? If you're familiar with Gravatar, it feels like something's wrong, doesn't it? Like something's missing. Okay, oh, by the way, all the levels are the same, but your enemies are different. Ah, jeez. Let me... Oh my god. Let me get out of here. I'm gonna get a little... You hear that Space Duel sound? See, the idea of this is just like Gravatar, but it's actually a harder game. Oh, jeez, it's actually a harder game than Gravatar. Let me get a better go at this. That was terrible. This is way harder. The physics, is that what I should call it? The physics, the gravity, and things like that are just different, and it's tougher on this game. Jeez.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually decent at Gravatar, but for some reason I'm just having trouble with this version of this. I'm not good at Gravatar, don't get me wrong. But man, holy crap! All the guys are like on crack, jumping around. It's but yeah, that's you know. Oh, by the way, it still, of course, it still has the flashing lights on the control panel. It's just so cool to see a different attract screen. By the way, the attract screen has got to be tough on your monitor, because everything goes down to a finite point. I'm sure if Lunar Battle would have been the released version, it would have probably burned the hell out of the center of every vector monitor, because everything goes to a finite point. You'll see what I'm saying in a minute here. Like, I don't know if you can see this in the camera or not, but it's just screaming. It's burning the shit out of the center of that. Look at that. So, you know, of course, in this, the planets are shaped different and things like that. But, you know, very cool. Very cool. All right, I'm going to show you guys like a little homemade slideshow of, you know, the production process, some notes and drawings and schematic, well, not schematics, but things like that that went into play when they made Lunar Battle.